My name is Ruby Sanchez. I'm 32 years old and have worked as a server at Lighthouse Restaurant for 6 years. It's a family seaside diner specializing on seafood and brunch. The view is gorgeous, overhooting the ocean. But pretty views don't pay the bills. I only make $2.13 an hour, the federal minimum wage for servers in America, because the law assumes we'll make up the rest in tips. Tips are our lifeline. For 6 years, I've walked 20,000 steps a day, carrying plates, wiping tables, dealing with drunk patrons, getting yelled at by customers and line cooks alike. My knees and back are shot, but I can't quit. I have an 8-year-old daughter with asthma, and her monthly medication costs more than my rent. I survive on tips. This past March, the restaurant switched to a new piece system. Every server got their own. When customers left tips by card, the money went straight into the system and we'd get a lump sum at the end of each month. Before, we'd get cash tips we could pocket at the end of every shift. Not anymore. The owner said it was more standardized and easier for tax filing. We believed him. The first month, my tips was $200 short. I asked the manager, and he said, "The system's fine, you must have miscounted." The second month, I was down $300. The third month, $400. I started listening to my coworkers' complaints. Megan was short, Lisa was short, Anna was short. All 8 of us were having our tips skimmed. Some lost 20% of their earnings, others up to 40%. I confronted the owner. His name's Howard. He's in his 60s, heaviside, with a smile that makes him look like a kind Santa Claus. But the smile was fake. Staring at him, one thought crossed my mind. He thinks we won't check. He thinks we don't understand. He thinks we'll just take it. Howard, we need to see the tip records.
The records are with the accountant. It's not accessible to staff. It's confidential business information.
Confidential business information? My tips were his confidential business information? We don't have one now. We don't need a union. We just need to stick together. 8 of us, all on the same page. He can't fire every single one of us. Lisa, 35, still paying off student loans, working a second shift as a grocery checker every night after the restaurant. Samantha, 28, saving every penny for her little brother's college tuition. He's starting school next year. Tina, 41, single mom whose son's about to start college. She only eats 1 meal a day to put money away. Jessica, 30, freshly divorced. Her ex-husband drained all their savings, forcing her to start over from zero. Betty, 55, nearing retirement, her knees worse than mine, aching every step she takes, yet she dares not take a single day off. Add me, that's 8 women. 8 people having their tips stolen. 8 piles of bills waiting to be paid. We need proof. Without proof, a walkout just looks like a disturbance. He can claim we're harassing him, call the cops, sue us.
How do we get proof?
I took basic accounting at community college. I know enough. I need access to the PO system's doubt count. Can you get in? I can't myself, but I know someone who can. The next day I tracked down Lucas, the technician who installed the PO system, a friend of a friend.
This is illegal.
They stole our money. They're the ones breaking the law.
I'll give you the login credentials. You do it on your own. I don't know a thing about this.
That's all I need. That night, once my daughter fell asleep, I sat at my laptop and logged into the POS background. The second the screen lit up, my hands shook, not from fear, but because I knew what I was about to see would change everything. All the background data was laid out plain as day. Every tip was logged, which customer, which table, how much money, which server it belonged to. Then I spotted a column named Adjustments. Every single month, the system automatically generated a line item called Administrative Fees, deducted straight from each server's total tip earnings. The deductions ranged from 15 to 30%, no set pattern, totally arbitrary, like someone picked a random number each month. Administrative fees. What fees? We never signed any paperwork agreeing to such deductions. It wasn't written anywhere in our employment contracts. Where was all that money going? I traced the transfers, and they all funneled into a separate account registered under Howard Sterling, the owner's personal bank account. I stared at the screen, my heart pounding like a drum. He wasn't just skimming our tips. He was pocketing every cent for himself. Every dollar he stole was earned through our sweat waiting tables, the bruises on our knees, the parent-teacher conferences we missed because we couldn't afford to take time off. I took screenshots of every piece of evidence and saved every record. Then I called Anna. Anna, I've got it.
How much total?
Over the last 2 years. I crunched the numbers. All 8 of us lost $60,000 combined.
$60,000. He stole $60,000 from us.
That's not even all of it. This is only what I found. If we go back further, it's probably more. The next day, I invited everyone back to my house. I pulled up the data on a projector and walked them through every page.
My son had a school trip last month, and I couldn't afford to send him, so I owed money from his classmates. I thought I just wasn't working hard enough, but someone was stealing my money all along.
I stayed an extra hour every single day just to pick up more tables for extra tips, and half of those tips got taken away. I shouldn't have blamed myself. I should have blamed him. We all cried, but not from sorrow, from rage. Angry tears burn hot, searing your cheeks. We made 3 decisions that night. First, contact a lawyer. We tracked down Alina, a pro bono attorney who specializes in labor rights cases.
At least 3 restaurants in this city have the same problem, but none of them have won a lawsuit because there's no evidence. Do you have any evidence?
2 full years of records. Every single transaction. This isn't just wage theft, it's grand larceny. He could face jail time for this. But what we want is simple. Our stolen money back and an end to him stealing from us ever again. I can negotiate a settlement on your behalf. If he refuses our terms, we can file a lawsuit. But litigation takes time up to a year. Can you afford to wait that long? We negotiate first. If that fails, we sue. We pick the busiest shift Friday night. The restaurant's packed, full of customers, and he won't want to alienate them. We'll stand out front with signs so everyone passing by sees what he's done.
I'm scared. What if he retaliates against us?
He's already retaliating. He's stealing our money. We're only taking back ours. Third, agree on a unified message. No arguing, no physical confrontation, no name calling. Just hold signs and state the facts. Friday arrived. I was so nervous from the moment I woke up that I couldn't eat a thing all morning.
Good luck, Mommy.
I might be home late tonight. Be good at Grandma's house.
Okay.
I got to the restaurant at 4 in the afternoon. The other 7 women were already waiting by the back door. Each of us held a handwritten sign that read, "Our owner stole our tips." Anna made a big banner and hung it on the front railing, over $60,000 total. Howard stormed out of the kitchen, his face bright red with rage.
What do you think you're doing? Take those signs down right now!
No one moved an inch.
You're fired!
Firing me won't change anything. Even if I leave, they'll keep holding the signs.
You're fired too!
You can't fire all 8 of us, unless you plan to wait every table yourself tonight. Customers had started flooding into the restaurant, and we could see them glancing out the front windows at our protest.
Is everything you're saying true?
Every single month, 15 to 30% of our tips get taken away. Over 2 years, $60,000 total, all deposited straight into the owner's personal account. The woman read the paper, glanced over at Howard, said nothing, then walked back inside and whispered to her dining compatrons. A minute later, the whole table stood up and walked out.
I'll never set foot in this place again.
That was the first table to leave, but far from the last. By 7 o'clock that night, over 20 people were gathered out front. Not just us, but former customers. They held up their phones to take photos and record videos. Several streamed live to social media with captions reading. I stood holding my sign, my legs shaking, not from fear, but from the cold. The ocean wind whipped past us, salty and frigid. Anna stood beside me, her hands didn't ice cold too, but we both smiled. That smile held an unspoken truth. We were doing the right thing. Howard marched back outside, clutching a stack of papers.
You're all terminated, every last one of you. Here's your formal notice of dismissal. Leave this instant or I'll call the police.
Go ahead and call them. When the cops show up, we'll hand over all the proof. You stole our money. You really think you want police here? Howard's face paled. He hadn't expected us to stand our ground so firmly. He thought we'd throw a tiny fit, bluff a little, then slink back to work. He forgot we had nothing left to lose. We'd already lost far too much. By 9 o'clock, only 2 tables remained inside. Every server had been fired, and the head cook Mike walked out too. He sided with us and refused to prepare any more food. Howard stood alone behind the bar, his face ashen. I'm sure he was wondering how it all fell apart. He'd stolen from us for 2 full years, certain no one would ever find out. He never imagined we'd dig into the system records, band together as a group, or stage a walkout on the busiest Friday night of the week. At 10 o'clock, he locked the restaurant doors 3 hours earlier than usual. When Howard stepped outside, he wouldn't look at any of us. His face was pale, his lips trembling. He climbed into his car and drove away. We stood watching his taillights vanish down the road. No one spoke for a long moment. Then Megan started clapping, and one by one, we all joined in. The next morning, social media erupted. Someone upvoted protests averse with the headline, "Servers Unite to accuse owner of stealing tips." The video racked up over 100,000 shares overnight. The comment section flooded with messages. Stand with the servers. These women are heroes. The owner deserved jail time. I stood in front of the camera, and the reporter began to ask questions.
Why did you stage this walkout?
Because our boss had withheld our tips. Over 2 years, the 8 of us were short more than $60,000. He pocketed the money himself.
Did you try talking to him before protesting?
We did. He claimed the system worked perfectly, and we'd simply miscounted our earnings. But we pulled the background record. The system functioned fine. He's the one at fault. The reporter asked Howard for an interview, but he declined. His attorney released a short statement reading, "This matter is under internal review, and no further comment will be provided at this time." I headed home to my daughter, who was staying at Grandma's. Grandma sent me a photo, my little girl sitting in front of the TV, pointing excitedly at the screen as my interview aired. Her eyes lit up with trust. She knew her mom was doing something right. That night, Anna called me. "Ruby, do you have any idea how many people have reached out to us?" "How many?" 12 servers from other restaurants. They all say their owners steal their tips too, and they want to follow our lead. I leaned back against my couch and stared at the ceiling. 12 people from 12 separate dining efficiencies. What did that prove? This wasn't an isolated incident. It was a systemic, industry-wide problem. Restaurant owners across town were stealing servers' tips, and we 8 women were only the small group who caught the theft. Elena facilitated settlement negotiations between us and Howard. For our first meeting, he brought his own lawyer, and we brought Elena. He sat across the table from us, looking worn out with heavy, dark circles under his eyes. He might not have slept all night. He might have been tallying up the figures, calculating how much money he had stolen and how much he would have to pay back if he were found out. Elena spread out his financial statements alongside our digital evidence on the conference table. "Mr. Sterling, you withheld a total of 64,300 tips of 8 employees. Under the law, this constitutes theft. We can either call the police or settle out of court."
What do you want from me?
He mumbled, stripped of all his usual confidence. "First, a full refund of all withheld tips. Second, compensation for emotional distress for every employee. Third, a public apology to the entire staff." He stared at the number in silence for a long time.
I don't have that kind of money.
"You drive a Porsche, live in an F neighborhood, and send your children to private schools, and you're telling us you have no money?"
We can offer a monthly payment plan.
"No. Full payment in full within 15 days, or we file criminal charges." Howard lifted his head to meet my gaze. There was no anger or sorrow in his eyes, only utter exhaustion. The exhaustion of having his fake friendly facade completely stripped away.
I accept your terms.
15 days later, the settlement money hit our bank accounts. The $98,000 was split equally between the 8 of us. I received just over $12,000, the extra portion covering emotional damages. Truthfully, though, the money wasn't what mattered most. What mattered was that he admitted his wrongdoing. He signed a formal settlement agreement acknowledging he'd stolen our tips, and that document was worth more than any cash payout. That night, we gathered back at my house again, each of us holding a bottle of cheap beer. "We should celebrate. We need to figure out what comes next. Do we go back to work at the restaurant?" None of us had considered that question. We hadn't stepped foot inside since being fired. Howard's restaurant was still open. Social media labeled him the thief owner, and most regular customers boycotted the place entirely. I'm never going back. Even if he offered our jobs back, I don't trust him anymore. Me neither, but we all need steady work. We can't afford to go without income. Silence fell over the room, broken only by the soft clink of beer bottles on the coffee table. "I have a thought. What if we open our own restaurant? We wouldn't work for someone else. We'd own the place ourselves." "Do you have startup capital?" "Not alone, but together we do. Combined, our settlement money might cover the initial costs. If we fall short, we can take out a small business loan. We'll run it as a worker co-op. Every server is an equal owner, we split all profits evenly, and every tip goes straight to the person who earned it."
I've worked in this industry my whole life and never heard of a server co-op.
Then let's be the first. Opening a restaurant was no simple task. None of the 8 of us had any formal management experience, but every single one of us had waited tables for run a kitchen back of house and keep overhead costs low. The only thing we'd never done before was make the big decisions. The owner had always handled all of that. Now the choices would be ours alone. We found an empty storefront downtown that had previously housed a small coffee shop that went out of business. The rent was affordable, but renovation costs would be steep. I ran the numbers. Our combined settlement funds only added up to a little over $30,000, barely enough for rent and a security deposit. Anna suggested crowdfunding. She launched an online funding page with the headline, 8 servers stolen from opening our own restaurant. The story we posted was plain and unemotional, only hard facts. $64,000 stolen over 2 years, 8 workers, 1 corrupt owner. The page raised $8,000 on day 1, $15,000 on day 2, $25,000 by day 3, and hit $120,000 by the end of the first week. Donations poured in from people across the entire country, complete strangers. The elderly woman who'd walked out during our protest donated $500. We named our restaurant Lighthouse, the exact same name as Howard's old diner. It wasn't an accident, it was intentional. Howard's lighthouse had lost its guiding light. Our new lighthouse would shine bright once more. We needed to register 1 legal representative for the business. The 8 of us each nominated ourselves for the role, 1 vote per person. We draw names out of a hat, and Megan was selected.
I'm not the right person for this.
You are, we told her. You work harder than anyone, just like all of us. When our official business license arrived, we hung the small metal plaque above the front door, and every single one of us broke down crying. It wasn't just a metal sign, it was proof that all 8 of us held legal ownership of this space. We were no longer servers working for a stranger. We were our own bosses. Renovations took 2 full months, and we did all the labor ourselves. Painting walls, laying flooring, hauling furniture. Anna's hands were stained white with paint. Lisa's knees bruised raw from kneeling on the floor. Samantha split her fingernails hauling heavy supplies. Not a single person complained. We were working for ourselves now, every drop of sweat benefiting our own futures. We crafted the menu together as a group. Each of us contributed 2 signature family recipes, dishes passed down from our loved ones, not generic restaurant core. My grandmother's secret meatball recipe, Anna's mother's chicken soup, Megan's homemade apple pie. We were sharing our family's flavors with every guest who walked through the door. Girls, tomorrow we open our doors. Starting tomorrow, no one will skim our tips. No one will steal our hard-earned money. Every bit of effort we put in will pay off directly for us. On opening day, a long line wrapped around the front of the building. We hadn't spent $1 on advertising. Local news coverage of our story had drawn the crowds. Newest headlines read, "Servers who had tips stolen open their own co-op restaurant." News headlines read, "Servers who had tips stolen open their own co-op restaurant." One elderly woman rode the bus 40 minutes one way, only ordering our cheapest bowl of soup. She didn't have much money, but she wanted to show her support however she could. All 8 of us worked non-stop. I waited tables, Anna helped prep food in the kitchen, Megan managed the register, Lisa wiped down every table. No one slacked off, no one complained. Every tip left at every table went straight into our own collective earnings. After closing that first night, we sat back of house counting every dollar. Cash sales, cart payments, tips. Our gross revenue topped $3,000 with over $500 in tips alone. Split evenly between us, that was over $60 each in tips. It wasn't a huge sum, but double what we'd make in a single shift at Howard's, and this was only our opening day. If we keep this pace every day, each of us will take home an extra $1,000 every month.
My rent's only $800 a month. That would cover it easily. I could finally start saving for my son's college tuition.
Looking at them, my heart warmed. This isn't just a restaurant, it's a dream. The dream of 8 people, supported by one belief. Our money should belong to us. We broke even our first full month of operation. We didn't turn a profit, but we didn't lose money either. We covered utility bills, rent, food inventory, and payroll. We each drew the legal minimum wage for ourselves, and all leftover revenue went toward paying off our renovation loan. No one grumbled about the low paychecks. It was a choice we'd all agreed on. We knew if we pushed through the first few lean months, business would stabilize. Our customers touched me deeply. They knew our story, and most left far larger tips than standard. One customer ordered a $20 meal and left a $100 tip, writing a note, "You deserve far more than this." Others handed us handwritten cards that read, "You women are heroes of this town." We weren't heroes, just ordinary people who'd chosen to stand up for what was right. Our second month, we turned our first small profit, $3,000 total, less than $400 per person when split 8 ways. But it was our first official profit distribution, the first time we got to keep extra earnings without handing a cut over to an owner.
I can finally buy my son the pair of sneakers he's been begging for.
I can add more to my brother's college saving fund. I can buy myself a new winter coat, the first new piece of clothing I've bought since my divorce. None of it was a huge windfall, but every single cent was ours. earned by our own hands, no one skimming anything away. At the end of our second month in business, Howard showed up at our front door. He stood outside the restaurant wearing a worn old jacket, looking years older than he had before. His original lighthouse business had collapsed, losing 70% of its regular customers. He'd been forced to lay off all his staff. Every cook and server quit, leaving only him and his wife to run the place alone. He lingered by the entrance, too ashamed to step inside. Anna spotted him and walked out to speak with him. What do you want, Howard?
I came to say I'm sorry. I never should have stolen your tips. I know an apology doesn't fix anything, but I needed to say it anyway.
Anna didn't respond to him. She walked back inside and told the rest of us what he'd said.
I don't accept his apology. It's far too late. Me neither. Tell him to leave.
Howard, we can't accept your apology. It's not that we hate you, it's that your words can't undo what you did. You paid back the money you stole, but you can never repay the trust you broke. You need to go. He nodded silently, turned, and walked away slowly, his shoulders hunched forward. I felt no sympathy for him. He'd made his own choice the day he decided to steal our wages, and he'd known this outcome was inevitable. 6 months later, Lisa did something that made every single one of us incredibly proud. She signed up for an online accounting night course, studying after her restaurant shifts. We run a business, and someone needs to understand the books. Hiring an outside accountant every month costs too much money. She studied consistently for 8 months and earned her official accounting certification. From that point forward, she managed all of the co-op's financial records. She logged every single income stream, expense, and profit distribution with perfect clarity, printing a full financial report for all of us to review every month. When she shared the first monthly report, Betty said, "I've waited tables for 30 years, and this is the first time any employer has shown me full financial records. Before, owners just told us business is slow, no raises this year. Now I know exactly where every dollar goes. That's why I did this. Every single one of us deserves to know exactly how much our labor is worth." Samantha's moment to shine. In our second year of operations, Samantha's younger brother got accepted to college, but he was $8,000 short on tuition payments. Samantha hid the stress from the rest of us and picked up multiple side jobs to scrape together the money alone. Anna noticed how exhausted she was and brought it up during our weekly staff meeting. Samantha broke down crying, saying,
I didn't want to burden all of you.
"You're never a burden. Your family, part of this co-op." We held a unanimous vote to advance Samantha an early profit distribution from the co-op's reserve funds to cover her brother's tuition bill. Samantha's brother later wrote us a heartfelt letter that read, "Thank you for helping my family. I will study hard, and when I graduate, I'm gonna lift up other won't people the way you lifted up my sister." Samantha framed the letter and hung it on our restaurant wall beside photos from our grand
see where my mom spends her days, to understand how she built a life for our family all on her own.
In our fourth year, Jessica's ex-husband resurfaced. He owed her thousands in unpaid support and showed up out of nowhere asking to reconcile their marriage. Jessica wailed for several days. None of us pressured her, only telling her we'd stand behind whatever choice she made. Once I thought I couldn't survive it without you. But I've built a stable, happy life all by myself now. She started an online blog sharing her story, navigating divorce, financial ruin, and rebuilding her life as a co-op owner. Her blog gradually gained a large following, with dozens of readers leaving comments saying her story gave them the courage to stand up for themselves too. I'm not some inspirational role model. I'm just an ordinary woman who refused to keep letting those people take advantage of me. 6 months into our fourth year, a regional food magazine featured our restaurant, not for our cuisine, but for our story. The headline read, 8 servers come back, from stolen tips to worker co-op owners. The reporter interviewed all of us and took group photos of the 8 of us standing outside the restaurant in matching linen aprons, grinning from ear to ear. We had the photo enlarged and framed to hang on our dining room wall. Someone asked us, "What's the secret to your success?" Solidarity. The 8 of us stand united as one. It's not about any single one of us being more talented. It's that every woman here is willing to sacrifice and support the others. When Megan was sick, I covered her shifts. That's the real reason we've succeeded. Do you ever regret staging that walkout? Not for a single second. I once thought waiting tables was a demeaning job, but now I take immense pride in this work. We work for ourselves, not a greedy boss. That night after closing, we popped a bottle of cheap supermarket champagne back of house, costing barely $20. Yet every one of us drank it with pure joy. I never imagined in my wildest dreams I'd become my own boss after a lifetime waiting tables. My son brags to all his classmates that his mom owns a restaurant. He used to be embarrassed to say I was a server. 1 year after the magazine feature, we fully paid off every cent of our renovation loan. That day, we opened a bottle of higher quality champagne to celebrate. Megan brought up a new idea. I think we should open a second location. Isn't that moving too fast? We've proven our co-op model works. There's no reason we can't replicate it. We debated the idea for hours, then held a vote. 5 in favor, 3 opposed, clearing the way for a second restaurant. I voted yes, not because I guaranteed instant success, but because I knew waiting longer would only make expansion harder. We began searching for a second storefront. This time, we didn't need crowdfunding. We'd built up business savings, good credit, and years of operational experience. We found a spot a short distance outside downtown with much lower monthly rent. We handled all renovations ourselves once more, but we had volunteer helpers this time. Regular customers who'd followed our story wanted to pitch in. A construction worker came every weekend to lay flooring. A retired school teacher helped paint the walls, and a college student volunteered to redesign our printed menus. On the second location's opening day, a long line wrapped around the building again. Most of the crowd were loyal regulars from our original restaurant, bringing their friends and family to witness our growth.
You all actually did it. You turned your fight into something permanent.
We're still just getting started.
After closing on the second shop's first day, we gathered back of home once more to tenny sales and tips. The tip earnings were even higher than our original location. Everyone in the neighborhood knew our story, chose to tip generously out of support. 2 years after launching our second restaurant, we opened a third location. This wasn't a planned expansion. Servers from a neighboring city reached out to us after hearing our story, begging to copy our co-op model in their town. They asked if they could use our lighthouse name and business framework. After lengthy discussion, we agreed, with no franchise fees or brand licensing charges whatsoever. We only had one non-negotiable rule. Their restaurant must operate as a full worker co-op, every server an equal owner with evenly split profits. They readily agreed. On the day the third store opened, some members of our team went to the site. Standing at the entrance and watching the servers, I suddenly realized that this wasn't just about 8 individuals. It was servers were beginning to awaken. They understood their tips shouldn't be stolen by greedy owners, and they learned that collective solidarity could rewrite unfair workplace rules.
Did you ever imagine it would spiral out this far?
Not at all. At first, all I wanted was to get back the money stolen from us.
What do you want now?
I want every person in this industry to know waiting tables is a dignified professional career. Our labor deserves respect, and every dollar we earn belongs solely to us. Just as our co-op movement was thriving, a new adversary emerged. A corporate restaurant chain called Quick Eats began expanding across our city, advertising a so-called cooperative work model to recruit servers with promises of profit sharing. But reading their employment contracts revealed was a hollow marketing trick, not a true co-op. Servers held video power to only 5% profit cut that management could revoke at any time. Megan uncovered their scam first. A close friend of hers took a job at Quick Eats and worked there for 3 months without receiving a single dollar of the promised profit share.
They claim they operated exactly like your lighthouse co-op, but it's nothing alike. The owner still holds all the power. We just have a fancy job title.
They're tarnishing everything we built with our false advertising.
We can't stand by and let them trick more workers. We need to expose their deceptive business practices publicly. Quick Eats retaliated against us shortly after. They filed a civil lawsuit accusing us of commercial defamation, demanding we take down our social media post and pay $100,000 in damages. We reconvened at the restaurant, all 8 of us weighed down by the news.
We don't have the funds for a lengthy court battle, but we didn't do anything wrong. You have a strong case, but litigation will drag on for months.
We resolved to fight the lawsuit all the way through. This wasn't about money. It was about stopping other servers from being manipulated by another fake cooperative owner like Howard. The trial stretched on for 8 months. Quick Eats attorneys tried to argue our accusations were baseless, But we submitted piles of evidence, witness statements from their exploited staff, copies of their deceptive employment contracts, and internal corporate emails sent to us by an anonymous whistleblower. In one email, their CEO explicitly wrote, "Market the restaurant as a worker co-op to draw applicants, then quietly revise the contracts once they're hired." The judge read the email out loud in court and immediately dismissed their defamation lawsuit. We won the case outright. That night, all 8 of us gathered back of house again. No one spoke for a long while. We were all processing the weight of what had happened. We defeated another greedy corporation out to exploit service workers. In our 3rd year of running the Coors, the global pandemic hit. All dine-in service was forced to shut down. We could only operate takeout orders. Our revenue plummeted by 70%. The 8 of us held an emergency crisis meeting.
Are we going to go out of business?
We don't know, but we're going to fight to stay open. Those months were the hardest stretch of my entire life. I delivered takeout meals all day, then worked a remote customer service side job every night. My daughter attended online school alone at home with no one to look after her. She would cry and ask,
"Mommy, when are you coming home?"
"Soon, baby," but I had no real answer. All I knew was I couldn't give up. Closing our doors wouldn't just mean losing a restaurant. It would mean destroying the shared dream all 8 of us had built. I can pick up extra bookkeeping clients for small local businesses, and all that extra income will go towards covering the restaurant's bills.
My son's doing remote school at home, so I can work full-time delivering orders.
My brother graduated college and landed a stable job. He's offered to send me money to help out. Government small business relief grants barely covered our monthly rent. Our local community kept us afloat. Regulars, large takeout orders, and left enormous tips with every purchase. One customer ordered a $20 meal, left a $50 tip with a short note, "Hang in there." Those 2 simple words carried us through our 3 darkest months.
Is the restaurant doing okay?
Everything's fine.
You're lying. I've seen you crying.
I'm just really tired.
Then you need to rest. I don't want you to get sick.
After hanging up the call, I cried for hours. Once pandemic restrictions lifted, business slowly bounced back. The first week we reopened full dine-in service, foot traffic was only 1/3 of our pre-pandemic volume. The second week it rose to half, the third to 70%, and by week 4 we were operating at nearly full capacity again. We sat back of house reviewing our weekly sales numbers as they overwhelmed with mixed emotions. We'd survived. Countless local restaurants folded during the lockdowns, including Howard's original Lighthouse Diner. His business shut down permanently in the second month of pandemic restrictions. When we heard the news, I felt no joy, only sorrow. He never had to end up bankrupt. If he'd never stolen our tips all those years ago, his restaurant might have had loyal customers to sustain him through the crisis. But every terrible choice was his alone to make.
His place closed, but we survived. What does that tell us? It means good people get rewarded in the end.
It's not about good and bad luck. It proves that community and solidarity are far stronger than running a business alone for personal greed. That year, we issued our first official year-end bonuses, $1,000 per owner. It wasn't a huge sum, yet buy my son a new laptop for his online school classes. I'm getting my mother a warm winter coat she's needed for years. I'll put it towards paying off my brother's student loans. I'm taking my daughter to Disney World. She's begged to go for years. My daughter was 11 years old by then, and she screamed and jumped for joy when I told her the plan. In our 3rd full year post-pandemic, we founded the Server Worker Co-op Alliance. It wasn't a formal incorporated organization, simply a mutual support network. Any server facing wage left or stolen tips could reach out to us for help. We offered free legal referrals, protest and walkout planning, media support, and full mentorship for anyone who wanted to launch their own worker-owned restaurant. We connected them with labor attorneys, helped organize peaceful protests, and coordinated local media coverage. Many groups won settlements with full tip reimbursement and public owner apologies. Others were still navigating lengthy court battles. But none of them felt alone anymore. They knew our network stood firmly behind them. One day, a young girl called sobbing uncontrollably.
"Mrs. Sanchez, my owner's stealing my tips too, and I don't know what to do."
You already know what to do deep down. You just need someone to tell you this isn't your fault. He's the one breaking the rules, not you.
Where do I start?
First, gather all proof of the stolen wages. Second, talk to every coworker and find others being short. Third, stand united as a group. Fourth, call me back and I'll guide you through the rest. She followed every step exactly as we discussed. 1 year later, her owner repaid every stolen tip and her restaurant staff successfully formed an official labor union. She mailed me a letter that read, "Thank you, you completely changed my life." I wrote her back one line. "I didn't change you, you did that all on your own. I only showed you that you had the power to fight back." In our 4th year running the Alliance, I was invited to deliver a guest lecture at the local community college. It wasn't an elite university, just the same community college where I'd taken accounting classes years before, but I didn't care. Standing at the podium in front of over 100 students, I told our full story from beginning to end. I recounted the stolen tips, our Friday night walkout, building our worker co-op from scratch, and launching the Alliance to support other exploited servers.
Mrs. Sanchez, what do you see as the future for restaurant servers?
Will automation replace us? No. Will robots take over waiting tables? Absolutely not. The future for servers is dignity and respect. Respect from customers, respect from employers, respect written into labor laws. Waiting tables isn't a menial job, it's a skilled professional trade. We learn wine pairings, food preparation, customer care, and how to connect with all kinds of people. Machines can never replicate that human connection. Owners steal our tips only because they assume we'll stay silent and compliant. But we fought back, and we proved them wrong. So our future isn't being replaced, it's being valued properly. The room erupted in long, thunderous applause. My legs shook as I stepped the stage, not from nerves, but relief. I'd spoken every truth I'd carried inside me for 4 long years and finally let it out. At the end of our 4th year of co-op ownership, we tallied our collective business finances. Over 4 years combined, our 3 Lighthouse Coat locations brought in over $2 million in total revenue. After splitting annual profits evenly, each of us took home more than $40,000 in dividend payments on average. It wasn't extreme wealth, but it was exponentially more stable income than we'd ever earned working for outside owners. Most importantly, we finally had financial security. We never worried about missing wages anymore. Every single tip we earned landed in our own pockets with zero unfair deductions or theft. Megan used her profit share to cover her son's first semester tuition at the state university, where he enrolled in a computer science degree program. She cried all day holding his acceptance letter.
I never dreamed I'd be able to afford college for him.
I told her, "You aren't doing this alone. All 8 of us helped make this possible." Anna put her dividend money toward dance lessons for her young daughter, who'd loved dancing her whole life but could never afford classes before. Every time I watch her dance, I know every hard fight we went through was completely worth it. When we spotted Mickey Mouse in the park, she screamed with pure excitement. Watching her, I knew every late shift, every stressful protest, every tear, and every moment of anger had been completely worthwhile. When she saw the costumed characters in the park, she squealed with excitement. Seeing her like that, I knew deep down that every night shift, every stressful protest, every tear, and every moment of anger I had endured was absolutely worth it. In our 5th year, we opened a brand new Lighthouse co-op across state lines. We didn't plan the expansion. Local servicers from that state reached out to us, desperate to build a worker-owned restaurant of their own after hearing our story.
They lacked business experience, STARTUP capital, and industry connections, so they begged us to travel out and mentor them through the process.
We held a group vote among the 8 original founders, and every single one of us voted yes to help them. We sent Anna and Lisa to live in that state for 3 months to lead full training sessions, staff management, daily restaurant operations, transparent profit splitting, and co-op governance rules. On the grand opening day, Anna sent me a video clip. The local servers stood outside the restaurant wearing our signature linen aprons, grinning from ear to ear.
The young server spoke directly to the camera.
"Thank you all for everything. We finally own our own restaurant." I texted her back, "Work hard and never let anyone steal the money you earn." Okay, after that opening, our alliance grew to include worker co-ops in 5 separate cities, with over a dozen restaurant locations total. Every single one followed our core rules: full server ownership, equal voting rights, and evenly split profits. In our 6th year, an investigative journalist published a full-length nonfiction book chronicling our journey. The book's title was 8 Stolen Tips: How Solidarity Rewrote Our Futures. The journalist shadowed us for 6 months, interviewing one of the original 8 founders, and also tracked down Howard, who'd moved to another state post-pandemic to run a tiny neighborhood grocery store. In the book, Howard admitted, "I made a terrible mistake stealing their tips all those years ago. They deserved that successful restaurant far more than I ever did." Reading his confession left me with tangled, complicated feelings. He'd finally admitted his wrongdoing, but it came far too late to erase the harm he'd caused. He'd repaid the stolen cash, but he could never give back the trust he destroyed. Even so, I hoped to find peace. Not out of forgiveness, but because holding on to anger every single day was exhausting. I refused to waste my energy to resent him any longer. I chose instead to pour all my care into my daughter, my Cope sisters, and every community we served through our restaurants. Once the book hit bookstore shelves, we were invited onto a national daytime talk show for an interview. The host asked, "What's your secret to such incredible success?" There is no secret, only a core belief. Every person deserves to keep 100% of the money they earn through hard work. No employer has the right to take that away.
Did you ever want to give up entirely?
Hundreds of times. But every time I felt defeated, I looked at my little girl. She needed me to keep fighting, so I kept going. In our 7th year, we expanded our worker co-op model beyond restaurant service work entirely. We began supporting grocery cashiers, house cleaners, and delivery workers. All of these workers faced identical unfair struggles: wage theft, unsafe work environments, and zero input over company rules. After learning our story, they reached out to replicate our co-op framework. We connected them with labor attorneys, affordable accountants, and small business loan lenders to launch their own worker-owned businesses. Some groups built thriving co-ops, while others struggled and closed down within a year. But every single one of them gained strength just from trying to stand up for themselves. One house cleaner named Maria organized over a dozen fellow domestic workers to form their own cleaning co-op. They booked all client appointments themselves, set their own service rates, and split all earnings evenly. No middleman agency skimping wages, no overbearing owner taking most of their pay. I attended their grand opening celebration. All the cleaners stood outside their office space in matching aprons, glowing with pride. In our 8th year of operation, a brand new challenge arrived at our door. A massive national restaurant corporation approached us with a formal buyout offer. It wasn't hostile, just a standard corporate acquisition bid. They're offering $2 million to buy our brand and all 3 stores. We'd get a big payout and retire. We held multiple long meetings to debate the offer. A few of us were tempted. $2 million split 8 months meant $250,000 per person. That money could pay off every mortgage, fully fund all our children's education, and set us up for early retirement. The majority of us, however, firmly opposed selling the co-op. If we sell the brand, our worker co-op mission dies entirely. Every server currently employed here will fall under corporate management again, and they'll likely face tips theft and unfair rules once more. We built these restaurants to escape exploitative owners, not to become one ourselves by selling out to a big corporation. We held a formal vote, 7 against the buyout, 1 in favor. The woman who voted yes later explained she faced sudden severe family medical bills and desperately needed the cash. We all sympathized with her hardship and held no resentment toward her, but our collective final decision remained unchanged. We would not sell. Local and national media covered our choice with the headline, 8 servers turned down $2 million buyout to protect worker co-op vision. Online commenters called us heroes, but we never saw ourselves that way. We simply never forgot the core reason we'd fought back all those years ago. In our 9th year, the Server Worker Co-op Alliance opened its own permanent office space. It was a small space on the 3rd floor of an aging office building, only 2 small rooms plus a single meeting room. But it belonged entirely to our network, no outside landlord or owner controlling it. The walls were lined with photographs dating all the way back to our original grand opening, each photo holding its own unique story. We also displayed the published copy of 8 Stolen Tips alongside a state government trophy we'd received, naming us the state's most innovative small business of the year. On the awards ceremony day, I wore my faded original restaurant uniform t-shirt to the stage. Why wear your work uniform to accept this prestigious award? This is my everyday work uniform. I'm still a server first. I only stayed from the restaurant for an hour to pick up this trophy. The audience laughed, but I stayed serious. Every word I said was honest truth. I lifted the trophy high and turned to face Anna, Megan, Lisa, Samantha, Tina, Jessica, and Bettery sitting in the front. This award doesn't belong to me alone. It belongs to all 8 of us. None of us matters more than the rest. Every single one of us was necessary to get here. The crowd erupted in applause. Megan and Lisa cried openly, and though I held back tears, my eyes stung with emotion. Megan's hair was streaked with gray. Betty relied on a cane to walk. Tina's son had fully graduated college, and my own daughter turned 18 that year, preparing to enroll in university herself. We popped in a bottle of high-end champagne, a far drive from the cheap supermarket bottles we'd shared in our early years, and each of us poured a glass. 10 years ago, we stood outside that old diner holding flimsy signs, our hands shaking nonstop. I fully expected us to fail, to be harassed or hurt, but none of that happened. Because we are 8 people, not just one. A single person might be knocked down, but 8 people won't be. Friends for 10 years. Comrades in arms for 10 years. We've argued, bickered, and had our disagreements, but we have never drifted apart. Whenever conflict arose, we'd sit together and talk through every problem until we reached a shared agreement. We weren't perfect people, but we understood solidarity was our only real strength against unfair power. Here's to the next decade. Every woman lifted their cups high and echoed the toast.
To the next 10 years!